rose ceremony, the fantasy suites, holy matrimony. Oh, won't you please take this rose? Hey, everybody, and welcome back to Buns and Roses, my Bachelor recap podcast. I am Snax the Bunny, and it's Women Tell All Week. Oh, yeah. This is the episode where everyone is supposed to yell at each other, but it was pretty buttoned up for a Women Tell All. And I have a crack panel of amazing commentators to join me on this quest of talking about the Women Tell All episode, and I'm going to introduce you to them right now. We're going to start with Jordan Pope. Hi, Jordan.
Hey, Snax.
Jordan is a designer and tech schmuck based in Seattle. He has worked on a variety of nonprofit and political campaigns, including One.org, Define American, and Every Town for Gun Safety, and is currently working on a product protecting renters' rights in the U.S. He is a seasoned veteran of fantasy bachelor leagues, but has never seen an episode in full until now. So, oh my gosh, is Women Tell All, is this your first episode of The Bachelor?
So this is the first season I've watched. I've seen, I think, 3 episodes in full.
Because you're a fan of my podcast.
Because I'm such a huge fan of Buns and Roses.
Yeah.
Exactly, yeah.
Well, that's great. It's wonderful to have you. Thank you for joining us, Jordan. Next up, we have Laura Chenoweth. Hey, Laura.
Hello.
Laura is a communications manager by day and a ramen bowl and cocktail enthusiast by night. She lives in New Hampshire with her dog, cat, chickens, child, and husband. She enjoys running and has been surviving 2021 with the help of Netflix and Legos. Okay, so tell me some, what are some good things that you're seeing on Netflix?
So I watched that Cecil Hotel thing. That was very good. And then kind of realistic and kind of a bummer at the end, but still, it's a fun ride. Okay. So I would recommend it. And then also British Baking Anything and everything.
Gosh. I love it. Soggy Bottoms.
Yeah.
All the way.
Aplenty. Yes. Yeah.
And what is your Bachelor journey, Laura?
So my Bachelor journey started earlier this week. I've never watched The Bachelor before. Not because I didn't want to. I just sort of avoided it.
Why does that
by
surprise
accident,
me?
Maybe? I don't know. But isn't that funny? So I've never seen it. So I watched a few of the early episodes this week, and then obviously the recap. So actually having a recap episode for me was good.
Okay.
Because there was a lot of middle stuff, new people coming, other people leaving, people fighting. I feel like I got the whole gamut.
All right.
I feel good about it. I made a Bachelor cocktail too.
What is it?
It's a gin martini with rose gin in it. It's Glendalough rose gin. So it tastes kind of like, yes, it tastes like a citrusy bar of soap.
What are you calling it?
Oh my gosh. Buns and Rose Day.
There it is. Yeah. Right in your lap.
Well played.
I love it. Thank you, Laura.
It's neither.
And finally, we have Adam Payne. Hey, Adam.
Hi, Snax. How you doing?
I'm good.
Very happy to be here.
Oh, I'm so happy to have you. Adam Payne is an amateur commentator and an artist. That's true. Adam, you are a fantastic artist. There's nowhere where people can check out your stuff or anything. You're not plugging anything right now?
Not at the moment. I'm afraid this year I kind of let a lot of things slide into the background. But right now I have a pretty good group of drawings that I've been working on for the last 2 months that I'm very excited about. The only problem is they're super long, so it's hard to get a good photo and show it.
Yeah. Would you draw me sometime?
I will. That's a promise. Yeah.
But not like a French girl, just like a bunny.
Yeah, like a bunny, like Snax.
Yeah. Great. All right. Well, I mean, we're going to get into this Women Tell All episode. This is, I was explaining before we recorded that I was kind of hoping that this crew was going to be talking about fantasy suites because I thought that was the next episode that was happening, and I got it wrong. So I gave you guys an episode that unfortunately is very referential of the entire rest of the season. So there was a lot of video packages and things. So hopefully it made sense, and hopefully it was at least somewhat entertaining. I was very entertained from the get-go because of Chris Harrison's penchant for hyperbole and how everything is the most dramatic thing ever, and it's going to be a shocking women tell all. But my favorite thing that happened was, because if you've been reading the news at all about The Bachelor, Chris Harrison got himself into some hot water by defending some racist behavior of one of the contestants. And he is going to be stepping down from the host position, at least temporarily. And it's been in the news a lot. But they filmed this episode beforehand, and so they had to put a graphic up when he walked out on screen saying that this was filmed February 4th to show the audience that, it was
I missed that.
before he did this controversial thing.
The audience or the woke police? Who are they addressing that to?
The woke police never stop. They're always there. I saw the woke police. I saw an 8-year-old boy in a Hot Wheels police car on my way here tonight, and I just shook my head because I was like, "Damn, these woke police be on the streets."
I just love that he said that. He said that unabashedly, as if that was never going to come back to him. Like, just has infinite job security, no concern whatsoever. Just throwing caution to the wind with that one.
Yeah, and one of the things he's being made fun of for a lot is he was basically defending a contestant having attended an antebellum South themed ball in 2018, and
he kind of talked about it as if like 2018 was 150 years ago.
Exactly.
Which it's not.
Especially like when he came out and he said, "You may think you know how this season ends, but you don't." And he looked so smug about it. I loved that. That made me really excited.
Well, I was listening to last week's podcast. I was very excited because I was like, oh, there's only like 3 people left. I'll only have to know 3 names. I won't have to like really memorize anything. Like, I've got this nailed. And then I saw the end of the episode and it was like this women tell all week. And I was like, oh man, like now I've got a list of like 20 names. Like, who knows what's happening?
Sorry about that.
No, it was perfect because I got to see a lot of stuff that I had missed. So I was like, this is great.
Yeah, it's kind of like if you don't want to watch the whole season, just wait till this episode and you'll get it all, and then you'll see the finale, and then boom, you're done.
Right. It's like just buying the greatest hits of like Meatloaf or something.
Yeah, it's the Cliff Notes.
Bachelor Cliff Notes.
Yeah, and then we got to see secret footage too. I'm sure we're going to get to that.
Yes.
So I was excited about that. But yes, I was definitely fired up by his hyperboles of everything's going to happen.
Yeah.
And you have no idea. And I was like, I've never seen one of these. I can't wait.
It will be shocking.
And I also I think that I'm a little bit conditioned to these previously recorded and having dates and stuff around because of COVID.
Yeah.
So I didn't think about it before. And I was like, oh, it's because they're in a crowded room. But it was very blatantly. It was like, this was pre-recorded. So, please back up.
Here's something that I'm confused about. So I assumed, they've all been quarantined in Nemacolin, Pennsylvania at this chateau. And I knew they were going to be filming the Women Tell All episode at some point. So I just assumed that when people were voted off of the show or sent home from the show, that they were just going to a place down the street where they were going to continue quarantining until this episode and just come right back. But these people went home because Brittany at one point talks about going home to Chicago. And I was like, what is their schedule for quarantining? Like, are people just doing these rapid tests? Like, is there just someone kind of vague, or do they have that COVID sniffing dog or something? Like, how are they doing this?
I think with the testing, they can drop it down to a quarantine of like 5 days almost.
I mean, really though?
I'm not a doctor. I don't know really, but I'm sure they could justify it in a certain sense of like, oh yeah, we tested them like 26 times and it's cool. We're good to go.
Yeah. I was surprised at all the hugging of people who had come back, because they definitely kept Chris and Matt away from all the riffraff. But certain people were allowed. So I wonder if you got a speaking role in the recap show, if you had to quarantine a little bit more.
Yeah, I wonder.
I feel like it's all presentation, because they have all these shots of them standing like 20 feet apart, like, look, we're doing it. And then they're just like 5 minutes later all over each other. Like, okay, so for most of the show you were apart, but like you were definitely hugging it out for, the last 5 minutes or something. So
yeah, I think they're playing a little fast and loose with these COVID restrictions. So yeah,
definitely.
The show kicks off. It's the most shocking women tell all you'll ever see. And he welcomes the ladies and addresses them as if he hasn't seen them in a year. He's like, wow, everyone's looking good.
Some of them changed their hair, though.
That's true. So. There were some highlights, some nice biology.
But they were looking good. So like that part wasn't like hyperbole. So it was that part was like pretty standard fare. Like I was like, yes, that's the only thing true you've said so far.
Yeah, Chris Harrison being a straight shooter for once. And then he says, well, we use this word a lot, unprecedented. No, Chris, you use that word a lot. And then he tosses to, but like while he's introducing, I sort of feel like, and I don't know if you guys noticed this, but like all the cutaways, all the reaction shots just seemed like they were thrown in willy-nilly. It didn't seem like anyone was reacting to what was actually happening. Like it would cut to somebody and they'd be like, and then it would cut to somebody else and they'd be like laughing. Like
there was one where Victoria looked like she had a violent outburst of like, and held it back, and I rewound it. So I was like, I don't understand what was just said that made you vomit a little bit in your mouth.
Yeah, it was just crazy. It just seemed like they just didn't give a shit. They were just like, yeah, throw a shot of them in there. It's fine. They probably had like 2 camera operators. I mean, that's just me talking about production stuff. I don't know.
Maybe that was the trick to the quarantining. Maybe they were only ever all together for 10 minutes. So it didn't matter. It was one quick hug and then everybody left.
I mean, maybe a lot of it's overdubbed. Maybe they did a lot of ADR and it's just a lot of audio looped over other images.
Besides the 3 who are still in it, was all the women there who were in it?
No, there were, I think, just 2 women missing. Maggie and Sarah. Sarah went home early. She left on her own accord because she had a sick father.
Right.
And then Maggie, no one knows why she wasn't there, but she just wasn't there.
Sarah was the one who kind of reminded me of what's her name from Schitt's Creek.
Yeah. She's Alexis. A little bit Alexis.
Yes. Mm-hmm. Like, can I steal you for a second? Or like, it was so gorgeous.
That does raise a question in my mind, though, just as someone who's like relatively uninitiated at The Bachelor, is like, they keep talking about these separations. The people who are there for this episode, they talk about their breakup and how hard their breakup was. And it's like, sort of, does life begin at conception? Like, when does a Bachelor contestant actually become a girlfriend? Are they all his girlfriends as soon as they show up?
I think that's how they treat it. That's how they treat it.
What about the weirdo who showed up because her friend said, you got to meet this dude?
Yeah.
And she showed up. Like, why didn't she show up?
She was there. She was at the Women Tell All. They showed the back of her head.
She was there?
Yeah.
Okay, that's amazing. Good. Questions are answered.
Heather was in the house. No one ever spoke to her. I mean, I think that's perfect. I think it's perfect that she was there and no one talked to her. Okay, so we get into this first video package. This is sort of the package about all the drama in the house. It's the women fighting for Matt. It touches on a lot of the Victoria stuff, which is always kind of fun to rewatch. Then it's like the new ladies are showing up and Victoria taking the crown off of the one lady. And, the whole package ends with the MJ and Jasenia face-off where she says, weak bitches lie. MJ's eyebrows were insane. I don't know, all the discussion about the drama. Anyone have any thoughts about this part?
I just love the fluid definition of toxicity, like Bachelor and outside of the Bachelor. Like that word gets thrown around so much, and it's just like they're all accusing each other of being toxic. Like, no, you made it toxic. You poisoned the water, and it's just like and they're defining it on completely different grounds. Like, you're toxic. You made my life hard, and that's toxic. So you're toxic, and you need to be out of my life.
And then there are the certain group of women who are protecting Matt from the toxicity. And then the other group who feel like they need to bring Matt in so he's aware of the toxicity.
You got to know about the toxins, man.
Which is snitching, which is also toxic. So
which is toxic. Yeah. I felt like either I don't know the definition of the word drama or they don't know the definition of the word drama. Because I was just like, if you're manufacturing this drama, if you cause the illness, and then you offer the cure, like, is that drama or is that just scripting something? But like,
wow, these are a lot of good points.
Was Katie like stirring it up, or was she the one who stood up and was like, you guys are being dramatic? And they were like, you caused all this drama because you brought it up to everyone's attention.
I mean, it seems like that's you know, you could see it either way. I think when I watched this show, I assumed that Katie was trying to get rid of the toxicity in the house by addressing it head on with Matt. But the women see that as, or some of the women apparently see that as her fighting someone else's battles and kind of sticking her nose where it doesn't belong, and sending Matt on a wild goose chase to figure out who said what to who and whose feelings are hurt and who should he send home. Because, you know, so everyone seemed mad at Katie because she gave Matt all this busy work of figuring out where the problems were lying in the house, and lots of women didn't get time as a result. So I guess that was that take.
That's weird that Matt thought it was like his job to like manage the house. Like, that's not his realm.
If like, anyone's the RA, it would be Chris, right? It's more of the house dad.
It is a little bit weird that they think Matt is going to, I mean, they're there for Matt. And so I would assume that if he says, hey, I'm super not into this, and if you want to win this show, like, stop doing that. I mean, I guess that's the reason, but it never goes well for people when they are the whistleblower or the tattleteller on the show. They usually get voted off like 1 or 2 episodes later. I keep saying voted off, and it's not a vote. Like, he sends them home, whatever.
It's a vote.
Can I just say, this is the first season of Bachelor I ever watched, and I'm not the hugest fan of this type of reality TV, but I loved Victoria. Yeah, I loved Victoria. I thought she was the best. I would give her her own show. There's a level of like something there that I thought was like really special and like entertaining and like good.
Well, I loved her Vegas style outfit. Like, it was a sequin bra with a sequin jacket and sequin pants. I mean, come on.
That's like that's a star. And then her erotica, I was like, yeah, knock this out of the park. Like, don't like, you came to play. Like, you are a star.
Yeah, let's talk about Victoria and her her trying to answer for her behavior just made it even more incredible to me. I've been convinced that this is a performance all along, but this was really the first moment where Victoria really wasn't there for our entertainment. I felt like all season she was there for us. She was entertaining us, and that was what her purpose was. But she was quite weepy in this episode, and seemed just very sure that she was the victim in this entire situation. What did you guys think about Victoria's explanation or justification for her actions?
I liked how she sort of almost tallied up how many people were bullying other people on the outside. Like, sure, you looked bad on television, but I looked bad on the internet. So that's clearly more people were being mean to me, and I'm still fine. So maybe you should get your stuff together. Because look, I'm fine. And then she started crying. She was like, "Why are you being so sensitive?" And then just exploded.
Well, she didn't say, "Why are you being so sensitive?" Or she might have said that at one point, but like she asked, like, "Are you a sensitive person?" Which is a real question. And I felt like a person who isn't maybe like really keen and listening is going to answer the way the answer came back, which was to be offended. And like being a sensitive person isn't an insult. Like if like some people are sensitive. Like I'm highly sensitive to some things, but not to other things. And and it was interesting because like I thought her question was a genuine question and not like a slight. But it was taken as like another slight or another insult.
Well, to finish her thought, she said, "Are you sensitive? Because I've had terrible things said about me and I just brush it off."
Yeah.
Yeah, it's all about framing.
Yeah.
Like, are you a categorically sensitive? Like, have you ever not been sensitive in any situation? No? Okay. Well, maybe you shouldn't be on this show.
They did talk a lot about like national TV.
Yeah.
This is on national TV, as if the internet isn't bigger than the national TV.
Yeah.
Which it's like,
Because I had seen the internet before this week, but I had never seen The Bachelor. So
There you go. Yes. So that, And when did you first see the internet, Laura?
Oh, I'm going to say 92, 93, probably.
Oh, shit. That's so much earlier than me.
She was in the military. Part of the
97? I don't know.
I've been telling people it didn't even get to New Hampshire until 98.
I lived in Connecticut for a bit.
where were they filming the tell-all?
Oh, man. Now I have to look this up.
Because I mean, this is going to come later, but like his haircut and his beard was great. So it's like, is he really getting that haircut in Nemacolin? Like, is he getting his beard treatment there? I feel like he's been out.
I wrote beard so big in my notes when he walked out. I was shocked.
I don't understand why he didn't start with that beard. That beard made him look so good. Like he kind of looked like, he's a beautiful man. Let's not I'm not gonna shame him into something. He's a beautiful man, but with that beard, kicked it up a notch. Like he was done.
I thought it was a little bit weird when Chris acknowledged the beard by saying it was a bold choice. Like, congrats on not shaving. Like everybody's on this guy's dick, even Chris Harrison. Like, what's your angle, Chris? Why are you buttering this guy up? Like
it's also really on trend too. It's not like a really crazy move.
Yeah, there was nothing risky about that move.
2021.
It was very calculated. Super calculated.
I wonder if Chris just can't say you're a beautiful man. That's an awesome looking beard. He had to
maybe he was
put
taken
it into
aback.
this other thing where
true.
That's a bold choice. It's like, well, no, it happened incrementally over the course of weeks.
That's the most shocking choice your face has ever seen.
But what I really noticed, and I know this is at the end, but his haircut in the Women Tell All versus his haircut 3 months ago. It's like, dude, what were you ever thinking? Like your hair now is you've cracked the code, you found it. I don't know what he was thinking before.
Chris Harrison?
No.
Matt J.
Yeah.
I don't remember his hair now.
His hair now is super tight and very sharp.
It's got a sheen to it. It's it's better kept. Yeah.
And before it was a bit longer, a little bit wavier, and I was just like, damn, in the tell-all, I was like, you look the best I've seen you.
I think they
Well,
were
a
going
big
for
selling
that
point of
life.
Matt. Yeah, a big selling point of Matt was that he's never been on TV and he's never been part of this franchise. So maybe they were uglying him up a little bit,
And
or
he's
not
a
making
country
him
boy
so
too, right?
crisp.
The farm life is
He's from
his
one
norm.
of the Carolinas. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, weird. I just
He lives in
assumed
New
he was
York
from a
City.
city.
Yeah, he lives in New York City.
But he kept saying this reminds me of my childhood whenever they were out doing
Yeah, the girl with the truck.
I think
Wasn't he from?
He grew up in North Carolina, but he lives in New York City now.
See, Laura, this happens where you can be born somewhere else and then you move to the city.
Yeah.
You don't just move to a different rural area in the same general. Okay.
I remember your husband moved to this city once and then he moved away.
I'm gonna get on that internet that
You
we've been
guys both
talking about.
moved here
Really
once and
look this up.
abandoned me, so that's fine.
I lived in a city for a brief time and I got so scared and I ran away.
You're like, oh my God, there's more than one area code. I can't handle
I'm
it.
out. I need more chickens.
The next portion of this is where we deal with the Brittany and Anna situation. Oh gosh.
I was expecting more from this. I just thought there was going to be more of like a retrospective, and there wasn't much news said. I don't know. It just felt like I was expecting closure from this, and I don't think we really got the payoff that most of us were hoping for anyway.
Well, I don't know. How much more closure do you think there could be? I thought Anna, I thought her apology was sincere. And I thought Brittany accepted the apology and even added to it and said, if you're a sex worker, don't let anyone make you feel less worthy by your occupation, and don't also bully Anna. And I don't really know what other closure there could have been from this. What else could have happened?
I felt like they kind of were just trying to smooth things over. Like everybody comes off smelling like a rose. Like I think which one was the one making the accusation? Anna. The blonde. She said, I think a direct quote was, "We all did the best we could do." It's like, you get to pat yourself on the. What do you mean by that?
She was like actively
you were
waving
being
people.
The worst you could be in this moment, right. And like, there was no mention of anywhere throughout this show. There was one line in this one episode of sex work not being like a major indictment against somebody, which was just the accused being like, "It's not for me, but it's not who I am either." So definitely
which is totally
myself from that. And that was the one blurb we got, and people were just kind of like,
I was just super
like, yeah, you ruined this girl's life by even accusing her of that. So I don't know.
Right.
It just fell flat for me for that reason.
It's just super disingenuous to like the whole time I was watching that scene. They're like, I was like, what happened? Because I missed that. I didn't miss that episode. And they're like, she's an escort. And I'm like, okay. And then what? Like an escort who like kills puppies? Like what? Like what's the bad thing she's doing?
Right.
And then like when they keep harping on it, it's just like, this is boring. Like this part is boring. It's like sort of like this weird conservative middle America, not middle, but like just an American value that we're supposed to pretend like we don't like sex workers when it's clear we do.
Well, it's middle America in the sense that we're like finding the center of gravity of all America because it's a ratings game. And it's just like, how do we hedge our bets to keep everybody happy? So there's this like Madonna horror complex throughout this entire show. I'm sure bloggers have fucking like gone off about this, but like, doesn't Chris Harrison like write his own erotica? And don't they fuck on the show? And like, but then there's like all this talk about like, you came here with a dildo, you're not ready to be engaged. Like, what are you talking about? That's not even infidelity. Like, you just like sex? Okay.
No, totally. There's no logic to how they treat sex. Men who have sex on this show versus women who have sex on this show. It's so ridiculous. It's like the men get high fives, the women get called slurs or whatever.
Oh, is that true? Wow. Damn.
Yeah, I mean,
not too surprising.
And so this show has had a really lopsided history of how they talk about sex, how they deal with sex. It's like they're like 12-year-olds who like giggle every time they hear the word. I mean, every time they bring up the dildo, they're like giggling like middle schoolers. They're like, "You brought a magic wand. You had a dildo. Oh my God, a dildo. She brought Matt a dildo and it sent shockwaves through Bachelor Nation." And it's like, no, it's just a dildo. And I liked that Katie represented the sex positivity that is never represented on this show. I like that she made that sort of like her mission. I thought that made her really likable in my eyes.
I was confused when she presented the dildo. Like, what, like, I know it's like a joke and like whatever, but like, was the joke that like, I don't need this anymore because I'm going to be here with you and you can use it? Or like, but then she's like, "I'll wait. I need it back." I was very confused of like what the joke was.
Yeah, I don't think she knew. She was kind of like, "Hey, I might need this if you don't pick me, but otherwise, you know."
Someone who's never seen the show didn't know there were cold opens at all to begin with.
There usually aren't.
That was the coldest cold open, so much that I paused it and I was like, is this the middle of an episode? I'm so confused.
I know.
I don't know what's happening at all. I don't know who these people are. There's people inside.
Yeah.
What is going on?
Ice cold open.
It was frigid. I think the producers had a tough time with Anna, and she had a few weird, and I know I missed the middle, but she had like a few weird storylines where she started as like a weird, innocent child who liked coffee too much. And then she was like jumping off the bed and like that was going to be her thing. And then she was just like kind of crazy eyed. So that was her thing. And then as soon as she had like a little nugget of knowledge, the producers pounced on it. And I think maybe that's why this sex worker thing got so big. They were like, she's still here for some reason. So we got to give her a plot line.
Yeah, it definitely didn't help Anna to have, it didn't help Anna's apology to watch that footage freshly back again where she's just foaming at the mouth with this information she cannot wait to tell people about. She's just like, I think she's a sex worker. And she's just so excited.
She did say that Chicago's a small town, though, and as a country person, maybe I could live in Chicago because it's a small town. And everyone knows each other.
Like the 5th largest city in the country. Like everybody knows everybody in New York. Like that isn't true. What are you talking about?
Greetings from the tiny hamlet of Chicago.
Maybe the marketing copywriting world in Chicago is very small.
Yeah, when Chris brings Brittany up into the hot seat to talk about, her whole time on the show. He just, it was one of the craziest rumors I've ever heard on the history of the show, and it was said about you. A devastating rumor in general, much less on national TV. And it's like...
National.
Hi, Chris.
National television.
He's also the executive producer of the show. So if it was that devastating, he has all of the power to not put that on national TV. Yeah. And it's so disingenuous. It's so stupid and shady. And my God.
Yeah. And he was like, you came in late, you came in hot. Like he's just all these accusations as if it wasn't like completely preordained. Like
all of his choices.
You were late. We had nothing to do with it.
Like, what would have happened if she, that was her job? She's like, oh, she's an escort. She's like, yeah, I'm a fucking escort. Like, duh. Like, I mean, like, it's like, this is so devastating. I was called out that I might have a certain job that I don't have.
Right,
it's devastating. Someone asked if I was a doctor today, and I'm not. It sucked. It just sucked, man.
I hope that like the producers, even in their like super calculated like gaming ratings way of doing things, takes feedback from the show. And like, it took them 30 odd seasons to get a Black Bachelor on. Like maybe I don't know if they'll get a sex worker on next season, but I just hope that like the move escalates from like you get out of the minivan and you kiss him to being like, you walk up and you're like, hey, how you guys? So how about that? And then that becomes like the move. Like they just need to like loosen it up a little bit and like kind of up the ante, because most of America's watching this like, this is like Jane Eyre. Like, what is this? I don't know.
Yeah.
What is this indeed? All right, so after we do this whole Brittany Anna montage, Chris wants to lighten the mood. And so he tosses to these unaired dates. I guess they've filmed dates that they never showed on the show because of reasons. And the first one was putting your hand in a box full of bugs to get a ring out, which is just so friggin' demeaning. And then there was one where they
what was
that?
For the insects. I'm an insect fan. I study insects, and I was just like, can we just stop this reality TV show thing of like using insects as a way to like creep people out. Like those hissing cockroaches didn't do anything to anyone. Like leave them alone.
You know what? You're right. You're right. I should probably be more tolerant of my many-legged brethren.
It felt like a Fear Factor throwback. Like I expected Joe Rogan to walk on and be like, just commentating on the whole thing, like scorpions and slugs and worms. Whoa, flesh-eating worms. What are flesh-eating worms? Did they make that up?
I think
They made that up.
They
just
definitely
added.
did.
It was like how kids do a haunted house. It was like, these are eyeballs, but it's
This spider will suck your soul out.
yeah.
Like I believe those were mealworms. Like flesh eating. Like no. Like
And just regular crickets.
Yeah, regular crickets and like cockroaches from Madagascar. Great.
The most
And also
exotic
fake
cockroaches they
rings.
could find. Yeah.
Everything was fake.
Yeah, come on, guys. We all know those are cockroaches from Madagascar. I mean, geez. And then there was another date that they cut where women had to eat pancakes and drink beer.
I have so many questions about what the setup of this one could have been.
So,
Like, what kind of storybook story ends up with, and there's pancakes and beer, and you have to
Beer
eat
and
them all.
pancakes. It's carb loading for a marathon. Like I don't know. That's about it. Yeah.
I
They
think
didn't-
it was
yeah.
I think it was like an Oktoberfest sort of themed group date. They had other parts of this date that did air, where the women had to wear squirrel suits and collect nuts, and then they had to like row these giant 1,000-pound pumpkins, like as if they were boats.
Okay.
And then I think that this pancake and beer part of it just got cut for probably just for time. It wasn't that interesting. But then
Yeah, it was pretty tame. I could see why it was cut. It was like,
yeah,
okay.
it wasn't that interesting. And then when they cut back to the studio, Chris says, "Those weren't pancakes. That was cement." And it was
Which-
like, yeah, good one, Chris.
Which is like,
You chefs, like
yeah, who's the chef? Who's
craft
cooking here?
services.
yeah.
But I did enjoy how Victoria just kept like throwing her pancakes away.
Yeah, I mean, because who the fuck cares? I mean, you know,
I
really.
was like like Matt's not gonna love me because I didn't eat flapjacks. I don't think so.
And then it was the date where they did hide and seek in the woods, and oops, the rich girl Kit gets lost. Fine.
Oh, Kit, just wandering around.
Yeah.
I loved that she didn't know what time was anymore. They were all like, "That's the funniest thing I've ever heard." And like, she was like, "I was out there for literally hours." And then they like narrowed it down to like maybe 30 minutes. We were
Yeah.
out there for a bit. We got a little pruny. You're fine.
With that date, all I could think of was like when Matt dove behind the tree, all I could think of was like ticks. Like, this is tick season, dude. Like, what are you doing? You're jumping behind that tree. And then when he got found, I was just like, well, yeah, if we're playing hide and seek, I'm just going to look for the camera guy who's pointing his camera at a tree. And I'm going to go walk over there. Like, that's probably where Matt is.
Yeah.
That's where Kit's rich person street smarts should have really kicked in.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
Follow the paparazzi.
Follow
they know
them.
where they are.
Speaking of the camera guys, they got exactly one GoPro shot of Matt, like Blair Witch style, freaking out in the leaves, like they're gonna find me. Not hiding at all. Just
Not
lying
hiding
down
at
in
all.
plain sight, like, am I getting this? How's the framing? Like, it was just, yeah.
and then they drink some raw eggs.
Which almost made me puke. I cannot take that stuff. Like, I was watching it and then that one girl was like about to puke and I was like, I almost threw up at work watching this.
I
I
liked
Watching The
MJ's
Bachelor at
full
work. I
fear
love-
of birth.
Yeah, when she's afraid of birds and eggs, I was like,
From
solid.
eggs
Yeah.
on.
It's like
From
that-
conception.
that
MJ
scans.
does not like
Yeah.
a bird.
The one part I did like about that drinking eggs video was someone just saying, "Pretend it's tequila." That made me laugh. Okay, then we get Katie in the hot seat, and this is really, it's sort of. We did already sort of talk about, her arrival with the dildo and everything like this, but this is sort of like these little hot seat interviews, especially with Katie, it seemed like they were teeing her up to announce her as the next Bachelorette, but that never happened in the show.
I definitely don't think Katie's coming back just because of like the kind of like passive aggressive fuck you that Chris Harrison sent her off with, which was just the best thing you could say about her was like, Katie, you're undeniably always just you. And then she just like walked away like, okay.
Really? Because I thought his introduction to her was so heavy-handed in like a favorable way. He was like, you captured Matt's heart with the dildo, and then you were delightful ever since. It was so like, you were a gift to us all, he said, or something like that. And I was like, whoa, he's like laying it on thick. And then at the end of her little interview, he was like, so do you think you know what you're looking for now? And she was like, yes. Now I know exactly what I want. I'm in the best time of my life to find it. You know, she's like really setting herself up for that. So I'm going to be the Bachelorette.
Piper had a strong vibe of that too, though.
Yeah.
She was like, I know the words. I know how to say what I want.
But it's weird though that they say this, because it's just like, dude, like it's okay to say you don't know what you want. But like in the show, it seems like there is a pressure to be like, yeah, I learned something and I know what I want.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, well, who does?
The whole show is orchestrated around this idea that like you should be following this very familiar trajectory that everybody's on. Like, and if you're not on this one, you're not on rails, then you're doing dating and love and life wrong. Where she's like, I just went through this whole like soul searching thing of like, why am I still single at 30? And it's like, because people are single at 30, like into their 40s. Like, who knows when you're going to find, like, maybe you don't. That's not a guarantee.
You can
totally
still live a perfectly
fulfilling life. I would love to see more people walk away from the show just being like, maybe it'll happen, maybe it won't. I'm still going to find joy in life.
I mean, I think a lot of people leave the show single or like breakups happen at the very end. Like, it's not like, I don't see as many like, oh, now we're married and we're living happily ever after. Like this show is not successful, which is why Chris Harrison is always so defensive of the process.
The process and why it works, yeah.
He knows that it is a failure, but he's defending it with all of his life because he's the executive producer of the show.
Is it a failure, or is it exactly what life is? You know, like.
Well.
I mean, if his goal is to have like hit it out of the park 100% of the time and like live this thing that's never going to happen, then yes, it's a failure. If it is like, we're going to do this thing, and if it works, works. If it doesn't, it doesn't. It's like, well, yeah, it's not going to because of whatever.
We'll be back in 6 months to try again.
Which is life.
It's successful because it creates a lot more social media influencers. It's a successful social media influencer pipeline.
Right. And like the finding love but the thing is like, if it's about like finding love, it's like, then fine. Like all of these people love this dude, Matt. That worked, you know, but it's like,
they found it.
If the goal is like the GDP of marriage is at stake. So we have to make sure we have a show where like people get married.
Yeah, this is Big Marriage's show. I think it's a lobbyist kind of
big Christian marriage show.
Neil Lane, he's trying to sell a lot of rings at the Shane Company. I don't know.
Laura is the only one who's married here, so she might be the only one who can speak to that.
Yeah,
it's true.
What do you have to say about that, Laura?
Well, when I met my husband, he was in a crowd of 33 men, and they had to do numerous tests. I cut half of them out the first day I met them, and then I whittled it down. And we've been together for 18 years now. So I guess Chris Harrison's like doing something right.
But who was your witness at your wedding?
Who was my witness? It was Snax.
It was me.
That's very strange because I wasn't invited.
That's true. Weren't. Not many people were.
I was the only one invited.
Which is a testament to like Snax.
Yeah, and very important. I feel very important about that.
You're the Chris Harrison to my Rose.
This is going to be the most dramatic union ever.
Also, just something I wanted to bring up is I cannot, the amount of kissing, was so disturbing to me as a human being. And it was almost like he was trying to swallow these people's faces.
Yeah, let's talk about Matt's kissing.
I appreciate, Matt, ever a student of the game, learning from the tape. He learned from reviewing his own kissing and the feedback. He got mass public feedback on his kissing technique. And I think he's better for it. And, I good on him for having a sense of humor about it, at least.
I was just shocked when he said his story about his first kiss.
Yes. Yes.
He bit the woman's lips so hard that she was bleeding. What the fuck, man?
In 7th grade, is this guy actually a serial killer? Come on, dude.
So crazy. How, it's fine to not be great at it, but how do you not know not to bite someone's lip until they bleed? That's crazy.
Listen,
that's a lot of pressure.
It's a story of redemption. It's a story of redemption. Cannibalism can be unlearned. These people can be rehabilitated. That's what we're here to learn.
You have to think of his eyes were open that whole time, and he watched her.
No. Okay. The eyes open thing. I feel like a lot of guys have to learn that lesson. I am an eyes open person, and I had to be told that I was being creepy, and I was like, oh, I didn't realize. Okay, cool. I get it now, I guess. I still don't think it's creepy, but if you don't like it, fine, whatever. I'll play it your way. So I could see why he would do that, but when in Chris's life did he see someone bite the lip off of another human being while they were kissing? Matt, sorry. Matt's life.
Well, he watched it with his own eyes in real time while it was happening. That's probably why he keeps the eyes open, is to make sure, are they bleeding yet? Are they bleeding now?
Never again. He's just thinking it. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I could not believe that story.
That brings the quarantine back in, because there were the women who were at it halfway through. And granted, I only know the clip show version of it, but she walked up and was like, by the way, I'm making up for lost time, and just open mouth kissed a stranger in 2021 during COVID. You don't know.
Yeah, I don't. I mean,
extra yucky.
They were supposed to all be quarantined for 14 days before being in the house. So we assume that everyone who's in there is safe. But I mean, come on, we can't guarantee that.
You can't guarantee it, but you can guarantee that two people who are in their mid to late 20s, if a dude is standing there and a woman's like, I'm going to make out with you, he's going to make out. It's going to happen. Pandemic or no pandemic.
Yeah.
So I get the quarantine rules, but it's just this is biology. This is happening. This what? You brought a dildo and you want to make out with me? Cool. Yeah. Did she bring the dildo?
No, Katie brought the dildo.
Katie brought it. Oh, sorry. But yeah, it's I'm making up for lost time. Blah 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 blah. It's what? But what is he supposed to do? Whoa, hey, I'm dating these other people. We're not going to make out just yet. It's nah.
Just throw a mask on.
That part was super real. I was like.
Yeah, of course he's not gonna push her away. I mean, come on.
Yeah, this is never gonna happen to him ever again in his life.
They have Abigail in the hot seat, and I think Abigail's fantastic. I wish I didn't feel like Chris Harrison is continuously patting himself on the back for casting a deaf girl. It feels very tokenizing, and I don't like that at all.
It does. And I was so happy.
The tweets of people that were so excited we cast you. I was like, oh, God.
Well, I had that feeling when I saw the first episode, because I did watch episode 1 and 2. And when she came on, I was like, oh, no. And then she's adorable and hilarious and is I loved her.
Yeah.
And I was like, great job.
Great.
And then they went and harped on it now.
It's just
which
the
is
way
sad.
Chris talks about it, you know?
I just feel like
Yeah.
The Bachelor's legacy is like one of half measures.
Well, I mean, and this is what we're talking about here, is that Matt James is the first Black Bachelor, and out of 32 women, he picked the one who it was uncovered that, you know, there's all that, and I don't know that he definitely picks her, but this is where it seems to be going. And this is like what it all kind of seems to be leading to, is that he picks this girl that he ended up finding out had a very, you know, checkered past on the internet in terms of her racist behavior. And this is what the show has to show for itself. They didn't bother to do any background checks, and you know, this is their heroic first stab at representation, and they're just failing and flailing.
So far into their run.
Yeah.
For their first stab at it, too.
Yeah. 20 years.
Yeah. I mean, the whole, I'm curious to see like the end of this and what, if any, I feel like they should give Chris Harrison a platform, for better or worse. Like, just let him go on camera and like dig his own grave one way or another. Like, the way he talks about the antebellum party is like, oh, it's just not in fashion right now. Like, this isn't the moment. Like, it's going to come back around and everybody's going to be fine with it again. We're going to do the slave parties. It's going to be cool. Like,
it'll be totally cool. We'll be
He's
fine.
like, oh, we can't use the laugh emoji anymore. Whatever. Like, he's acting like it's like this trend.
Mm-hmm.
He's like, oh, I can't keep track with what the kids care about these days.
If he gets fired, I'm a little bit like, I haven't read any of Chris Harrison's erotic art, but I'm a little bit concerned to see the direction that it takes if he loses this job. Like, he might go a little bit off the rails. Like, what is the next edition of Chris Harrison's erotica going to look like if he's super embittered?
It'll be set in the antebellum South.
That's a start that we can all bet on. Yeah.
Yeah. Corsets are been ripped left and right.
Wait, has anyone read any of this erotica?
Oh, I have it if anybody wants it. I got the Kindle version of the book.
Is there like 60 people on an island? There's like one chick.
No, it's like someone falls in love with someone who's in jail, and I don't know.
Or jail is a reality TV show and they can't leave and they can't talk to their loved ones.
Is there just one book of it?
Yes.
Okay.
Everybody
made it
more.
seem like he was like a prolific, like erotic author.
I think he's only written the one so far, but we'll see, you know, we'll see. I don't really have too many more notes for this show. I know, you know, when Matt comes out, he's got the beard. He addresses Serena and some of the ladies. He says stuff like, I wish we had more time. And that felt pretty disingenuous because it was like, well, you had control over that. But yeah, I mean.
He says, he likes to go on about how I have so much empathy for these women and what they're going through. Like, it's not this like heavily produced, hellacious kind of like public spectacle that they're putting them all through. It's like, I feel so bad for these unwitting martyrs who just like stumbled onto this show and like didn't even know what they were getting themselves into.
Yeah, that's
sorry.
They go straight from that into bloopers where it's very clear that they did numerous takes of these like heartfelt moments.
You fucked up the script. Yeah, exactly.
Oh, I have a note. Snax.
I like a boingy sound. So I like the bloopers.
I totally agreed with you on the Canada date. I thought that was awesome.
I liked the Canada date. I mean, I thought I was the only person. Thank you, Adam. I appreciate you speaking up.
The flags, the food, Serena just being like a weirdo.
Fabulous.
Like I thought it was great. I was like, if I went on that date, I'd be like, yeah, down.
Yeah, it won me over. I do think it was funny though. Like you're right, Jordan. Everyone kind of saying like, we've been through so much, or like, you know, Katie was like, this is the hardest thing I've ever done.
Ever done.
It's not.
Ever.
It's just circumstance happening to you. Like, it wasn't this organized thing with this like, the
hardest thing you've ever done. And I'm like, you were cast on a reality show that you tried to get, like you applied for it probably, and or
effort to get here.
Yeah, like
you got to stay in a 5-star resort. You were not allowed to leave.
You got to see your
literally
family,
could
maybe?
leave.
Yeah, Yeah, they got to
Or
go.
actually, you could leave if you wanted to. You could be like,
yeah, they all live in America. Every single one of them has the right to leave at any moment.
Yeah.
It's a beautiful thing. It's called freedom. And they just chose not to do it and to do the hardest thing they've ever done, which was pretend to give a shit about a dude who's dating 30 women. I don't know.
Yeah. I don't understand. They act like they've been through war together, and Matt treats it like that too. He's like, these women, they're so strong. They've been through so much. It's like, what are you guys all talking about? We've been at home in a pandemic, not able to leave our houses. People are dying.
They have their hair and makeup done every day by professionals.
Just the scene of them sitting around a pool all together within 4 feet of each other with like drinks. I was like, you motherfuckers.
Yeah.
Just flaunting. Yeah.
Like
flexing on all of America.
Like we all want to party around a pool. We all want giant pancakes. We all want to chug a beer.
Yeah, we want too much
and then
beer.
Crying about your plight. Like,
right, the plight. I did enjoy the bloopers though. I laughed. I had a good time with those.
I like a chair falling over. I love that.
Any Dame of the Week.
He called out the cameraman, Doug. Doug, come on.
It was Doug the one who knocked over something on a table or something?
There was like a heartfelt moment happening, and then there was a huge crash, and the camera fell, and it was like, come on, Doug.
I want them to turn the cameras around for a season and just show the production crew and everything that happens behind the scenes and make that the reality show.
Yes.
They're like masked up in hazmat suits and shit. Like, can we just go home to our families soon? Like, can you just get me out of here?
So Chris mentioned that he missed having the live audience at the tell-all.
Yeah.
Now, I want to take my British Bake Off expertise to the table and say that they also filmed a season in quarantine.
Yeah.
They did.
At the episode where they would usually have a public audience, they had all the cast, all the crew, all the people who worked at the hotel, they all got to come to the show, and they were there. Like, they have a whole hotel staff that
was like hundreds of people.
Probably.
Yeah.
They
That's
certainly
true.
could have had an audience.
That's really true.
It was super impressive, like how the baking show did that, because like they had it was almost 200 people there.
Just bring the
and
crew
then it
out,
was in the credits. They also credited a psychologist that was on premises the whole time too, which I think
did you get his number
would benefit
or
from.
her number?
Probably you should. That's what we want the show to be about. That's the show.
Oh my God. No, I want that to be my job. I want to be the in-house therapist for The Bachelor.
Nothing about this is natural or normal. Like, you're free to freak out and lose your mind completely. Anything that happens to you is totally fine on this show.
Why did they censor the donkey pooping? Like, they censored the poop and the butthole of the donkey. Like, I was like, why did you make some production person work overtime?
The black box is falling to the ground.
Falling to the ground. It's just like, there is no law anywhere on this God green earth that says you can't show a donkey pooping on American TV live.
And if anything, it would be funnier to see an actual poop.
Yeah.
I wish they had censored more, like the dildo or whatever they were eating, or just anything. Just like, cops pixel filter on everything in the show. Just to
the pancakes.
Build some intrigue. Yeah, exactly. The pancakes.
And also in the bloopers, when she said that's a dragonfly, she was incorrect. It was a damselfly. So
thank you.
I had that too.
They're not native to Pennsylvania.
I had that in my notes.
Thank you, Laura.
They brought them in from wherever they flew in from.
It's an ecological disaster. They are wreaking havoc on the Pennsylvania countryside.
Starting a new pandemic.
But I also got really bored at the end, and all I could think about was the candles and Michael Scott's proposal in the office. And then that made me start looking at the chairs, and I was like, why are the women sitting on what look like really uncomfortable chairs? And then these two fucking dudes are sitting on this like amazing sofa in like Shay's Lounge, fucking amazing thing.
Patriarchy, man.
And then literally at the end.
Oh, I love that. That was the best. The best. She needs her own program. I don't know what it will be, but she needs it.
Yeah, what would that be? Queen Victoria, literally, what is she doing? Maybe she's trying to build her empire, or maybe she's trying to find a castle. Maybe she's home shopping.
I don't think we go with reality. No, I don't think we go reality. I think we go straight into like a sitcom. She could do a sitcom.
A musical.
Yeah, she could do a musical. But like, I would like
a crazy ex-girlfriend situation.
No, the thing is, like, I don't think she's crazy ex-girlfriend. Like, she's a different thing.
Adam, I kind of feel like hearing you talk about her that maybe you know her heart.
Yeah.
I probably do.
I think you do.
He does talk about fake bitches a lot. Adam's always sending fake bitches home.
That is true. I do send fake bitches home left and right. But like, Victoria is somebody who has a gift for this world. I do not know what that is, but like, even if she was like just shopping at stores that are going out of business and then like talk about why they're going out of business. I don't know.
For example.
Anything. Yeah. Anything, but like, don't hurt the insects. So just, the donkey montage too was quite long. It was a little awkward. And I was just like, dude, this is on national TV. Like like this is on national TV.
I mean, I'm not mad at seeing donkeys. And I don't know if it was like thirsty seeming for the donkeys. Like they didn't seem too thirsty for me. Like I am glad that they got some screen time. I'm glad that we got to look at something that was happening in nature. I mean, I wasn't mad at it, you know?
No, I thought the donkeys were way better than the conversations Matt was having with any of these women. Like his conversations with these women are so fucking boring. Like you're like, how, like, you're not talking about anything.
Yeah, we don't learn anything when they talk to each other. It's like word salad.
I get sweaty palms because it feels like a job interview every time he asks them a question. It's like, where do you see yourself in 5 years?
Yeah.
What kind of family are you looking? And then I'm like, I'm glad I'm not answering these questions because I don't know the answers and it gives me heart palpitations.
Also, when the women who are like breaking up, air quotes, breaking up with him or having like serious conversations with him, or the ones that are telling them like their true actual feelings, if that's real. Like he goes into shutdown mode. He has no micro expressions. Like his face becomes a solid mask because like he has no idea how to react or how to feel because he's like no feelings are computing. And I know this because that's what I fucking do. Like there's nothing going on. Like you are trying your damnedest and hardest to figure out like a response at all because you're just like, how is this person able to express a feeling like this that I don't even know what that thing is? And this is like blank slate.
Most of the show is scripted. We know that. I feel like each Bachelor, not having, I don't really know that much about the past seasons or anything, but I do feel like producers come to them and like feed them like, here's your go-to kit of like soundboard things to throw out there when you don't know what to say. And so with Matt James, it's like, haha, I like that. Or like, yeah, no, I hear you. No, I feel that. That makes sense to me. That makes a lot of sense. But it's just like, at the end of the day, we just all want to be loved. And I'm here for you in your journey to help you in any way that I can. So
he's like a pull
thanks for being one of my 30 girlfriends. Yeah.
The pull string doll.
Jordan, I'll follow you anywhere.
Same. Actually. Does anyone else have any notes or observations from this amazing, incredible Women Tell All episode, including the sneak peek about the rest of the season?
That's what I was going to bring up. What do we think? Confronting his father. What's happening?
My God.
What makes him sit on that stoop? That stoop was in the first episode. I
think that's about his dad, to be honest. Like, I don't know.
It has to be about his dad. And as, someone who has had some family issues and shit. I was like, when he was confronting his dad, I was like, oh, bro, don't do it. It's not worth it. You're not.
Were you talking to his dad of appearing on The Bachelor? Because that's what I was like. Why are you?
Well,
why did you
one, the dad, but
show?
but like for him, I'm like, dude, like you're not gonna get what you want from this man. It's not gonna happen, and you don't fucking need it. Like, well, you don't need it.
I want to know how this came to be. Like, did he tell producers, yes, I'd be willing to have you contact my absentee father so that I can confront him on national television? Or did they just pull him out and say, here's your dad, Matt? Like, how did this happen? It seems like...
Or how absentee is he really?
Yeah. Is he an actor? Is any of it real? Is Matt James a human being? Is that his name?
Yeah.
Wait, he said two first names. I don't trust it.
Is anyone being paid?
Which one is it, Matt? What?
Is anyone being paid for this?
The Bachelor gets paid. The lead gets paid. Nobody else.
How
gets
much?
Paid. I don't know. I think it's probably a pretty good paycheck. But none of the other contestants get any money.
Because if someone was like,
is that true? Wow.
Yeah.
If someone said to me like, hey, Adam, on national TV, we want you to confront your stepmother. Be like, you fucking need to start adding some more zeros to that last check.
Oh yeah.
And just shed your dignity to begin with. Like, there's no bouncing back from this one unless you're really going to become like, this is your new career.
Right. Like if I was the dad too, I'd be like, you want me to talk to my fucking son who I fucking abandoned and it was a loser too? Show me the money.
That is like yeah. I mean, I do appreciate, like, I kind of like the worst part of me wants more of that. Like, that is the most salacious detail of the show. It's just like, show me something real. Like, let's see I want to see this guy cry about his broken childhood. And I want a therapist to come on and have, they're going to have a breakthrough moment. It has nothing to do with him finding love. It's just about all these broken people figuring themselves out. Like, I think that's what we're all hoping for. That should be the follow-on.
It's a quest for a different kind of love. You know what I mean?
The self-love. Yeah. Like, and like with that one girl that dumped him, like, I feel like that should be more than like a one-off thing on this show. Yeah. I did like that. The girl who dumped him, I'm forgetting her name. She was like,
that's her.
Was it Serena? Serena P?
Yeah, Serena
P. Yeah.
She was all remorseful about like, oh, I felt so awful about what I put the Bachelor through. Like, he's not supposed to be dumped, and I just did an awful thing by turning him down. And then she said, she like sort of like gave herself away a little bit by saying like, hurting him was the cherry on top of it all. And it's like, well, you enjoyed this.
Hold on.
You really relished that.
Yeah, and she's also 23.
Well, here's an important question for you all. Is the cherry really the best part of the sundae? Because I think that those disgusting things that are soaked in like formaldehyde or whatever is the worst part of the sundae. But people say the cherry on top and they mean that it's the best thing. And I'm here to argue that point. I don't think that that's right.
They used to be preserved in a small amount of formaldehyde. They no longer are. Okay,
I was being so unfair.
Just enough formaldehyde to make a bunny a little bit drunk. And so you're welcome.
Just a tiny amount of formaldehyde. What?
Well, the thing is, like, if there's no cherry, it's still a sundae, So it can't be the best part of the sundae.
That's true.
So that on a pillow. I feel like that should be framed and sewn and embroidered in households across America. It's still a sundae if there's no cherry. So
it's the hot fudge on the sundae. I think that's the best part. Because then it's just ice cream without the hot fudge.
But I do like a great big pile of whipped cream.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Because, like, God.
Man, I want a sundae now.
I just want a can of whipped cream to suck down.
Yeah.
I just want to do some whippets. Like, can we just...
Postmates.
Yeah, there you go.
Postmates.
Can I just Postmate some whippets? Just Skype it to my inbox and we'll be good.
Snax, like, after this, like, I might watch the last episode, but I probably will never ever watch this show again. It's been on TV for 25 years.
I think
so. You're telling me
Okay.
when I was 24, I could have auditioned for this and been on it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's your show.
So many,
That's
just like years and years of missed opportunities that you have to go to bed with.
Gone.
Yeah.
Just gone.
Mhm.
Sometimes, yeah, that was just a portrait of grief that I saw just now.
Just gone. And I haven't started baking, so I can't get on that show. I'm not even fucking British, so. Okay.
They love the newbies on that show, though. So you be the underdog. You fake a British accent. You bake your first thing.
That would be amazing if someone faked a British accent and went on that show.
The reveal in like the penultimate episode, like, I'm not even British, I don't belong here. But no, it's imposter syndrome. You don't let those bitches tell you.
Oh no, yeah, I'm not even British. I don't know what bangers or mash is. Today, mate.
I ask you to make a pudding and you actually get Jello pudding.
Yeah. On the subject of like, how long has this been around? And I've just been like sort of oblivious. Like I knew The Bachelor was a thing and Big Brother and all that stuff. Like I just never really like paid attention to it. It's like a force of nature now. And I'm not swept up in it. I haven't weathered that hurricane myself, but I do know that like, it's not going anywhere. No matter what shit comes out of Chris Harrison's mouth or what, like who could possibly fuck up this dynasty at this point? And like, you know, American media is notorious for sort of like dragging things out long beyond their welcome, as compared to with like the UK and other places where it's like 2 seasons and it's over. Mm-hmm. Just like quit while the getting's good.
Well, even like American Idol, like took a break,
like
but they're back.
I don't know what it's going to take to bury this show. Like, what is it just going to be like, okay, they got a new host on here and it just kind of peters out from there because they're not as good as the magic that Chris Harrison brought to the show? Like, what is it going to, we're not like, by the time I'm dead, the show's not going to be in the air, but I don't know what it's going to take to take it off. It
might still be on the air. Like this, like it is in the realm of becoming like a religion, you know, like it just keeps existing because it keeps
its own political
making
party.
Money.
That's what's going to be what ties this country together. Is
Bachelor Nation.
Yes, that's what we need to do. Put our hopes and dreams.
We need a flag. That's all we're missing. We're just doing it because we don't know how to stop.
And the best part about it is like, this has always been how it has been. Jesus Christ fought for 30 virgins and like he married 6 of them. And the Mormons were like, no, I married 20. It's fine. It's cool. We got this. And it's yeah, whatever. Bachelor.
There's also international versions of this show. So this is just Bachelor America. And in Bachelor, the American version, there's The Bachelor, which has been happening since 2002. There's The Bachelorette, which started in 2003. There's Bachelor Pad, Bachelor in Paradise. And then they had some specials, some different specials. But then if I scroll down, they list all the international versions. There's The Bachelor Australia. There's Bachelor Brazil.
Do all the accents, Canada. Please, Snax.
Oh, boy. No, I don't want to get canceled. There's a whole cancel culture thing happening right now.
Oh, geez.
I can't afford to get canceled.
Police coming after you. Yeah.
There's Der Bachelor from Germany.
Perfect.
Der Bachelor.
It's all pancakes and beer. It's just pancakes, beer, squirrel costumes, inexplicably.
I bet you that one is actually good because they're probably very like practical about everything. They're like, yes, he has very good teeth, and I've
heard the international versions are kind of more fun to watch.
It's just a checklist.
Yeah. Well, thank you guys all for coming on to Buns and Roses. It's been so wonderful to have this time with you all to talk about this crazy show. And to everyone listening, please make sure you subscribe and rate and review. Even when this season of The Bachelor is over, I will continue podcasting in some way, shape, or form. It'll show up in your same feed, and you can join me for whatever I end up talking about next. I'm Snax the Bunny. You can follow me on social media at FreeSnax at FreeSnax. And you can also email me at freesnax@gmail.com. So until next week, please keep your walls down, stay vulnerable, and enjoy the journey. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Take me down to the rose ceremony, the fantasy suites, holy matrimony.